Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge Chaos Noah mit dem COZ-Patch. Und ja, wir haben ja gerade ein bisschen was, wir haben von den New Gen Morden erfahren und mal sehen, wie es damit jetzt weitergeht. Before I'd even realized it, I turned around and was looking around my room again. There were a bunch of visits for New Gen und Taboo. News, Taboo ist sozusagen Google. News, Taboo News. Das ist Nachrichtenkanal. Ups. So I went to skim through them. New Generation Madness incidents that had the entire internet in an uproar. There had been 2 of them so far. One of them was so brutal several TV channels didn't even describe the crime out loud. The first incident, the group dive, had been initially thought to be a suicide, but rumors had since risen that it may not have been. Parents and friends of the 5 victims all said the same thing. None of the victims had shown any signs of planning to commit suicide, and they hadn't had any reason to do so either. And on top of that, some physical evidence had been found too. Had a quick look. Well, like something out of a creepypasta, right? Oh, you shit yet? You shit yourself yet? Not really. Grim, here. Take a look at this, lol. What is it? A picture of one of the victims' corpses. He did stuff like this from time to time. But if I wanted to keep up my reputation as the great nighthead of Baselat, I couldn't let it faze me. Unlike in the real world, I was a god in the world of ESO. I was the strongest, wisest and most noble knight in all the land. Mocking me would be a fool's errand. And so gathering up whatever courage I had, I clicked the link. Dumme Idee. Oh, it was just some city doodle. Laughed my ass off. I got baited. Who did this? Haha. I do it in like 2 minutes. Damn, the god of art finally shows himself to us mortals. Anyway, I'm dead tired, so I think I'm gonna go pass out. Can see you tomorrow, Baseland. Grim has left the room. 2 years. Come to think of it, the Shogun guy had been here the whole time. I'd completely forgotten about him, not that I cared though. Well, I don't really feel like sleeping yet, so I guess I will farm an ESO for a bit. Wait, no. This new episode of Blood Tune comes out today. I didn't have a TV in my room, so I just made do with my PC. 50 minutes to go. Might as well go to the bathroom while I wait. I took a quick look at Sarah next to my monitor. I would get to see Sarah's son today. I couldn't wait. With that in my mind, I made my way over to the closest chat window. Huh? Shogun had sent me a message. Das war eigentlich das Bild, auf das ich gewartet habe, aber na gut. Ist jetzt halt in dieser Folge drin, nicht in der letzten. Judging by the file extension, it looked like an image link. A sudden link posted by suspicious data that hadn't sent a single message until now I got instinctively. I couldn't explain why, but I had a bad feeling about it. A feeling unlike anything I had ever felt in all my time on the internet. I really didn't want to click it. I clicked my tongue and glanced at the clock. My rendezvous with Sayatan was in 12 minutes. I should probably get this conversation over with quickly. What kind of bait and switch is this? Warte mal. Das ist Deutsch. Die Welt ändert sich, wenn du darauf klickst. Ich habe keine deutsche Sprache eingestellt. Das Spiel ist komplett auf Englisch. Also anders gesagt, das Ding weiß auch im Original im Deutsch. Wow, wow. What's with the German? I was trying my best to act calm and casual. Aber das ist. Aber ich muss den schon mal lassen. Das ist schon ein richtiger formulierter Satz, der auch meines Wissens nach nicht falsch geschrieben ist. Da sind keine Rechtschreibfehler drin. Das muss man dem mal lassen. To be honest, I really didn't want to chat with a shady guy like this. I was so uncomfortable that I could feel a cold sweat forming. He was saying something like, the word changes if you click it. Seriously, what was his deal? And if the guy only spoke German, I definitely wouldn't be able to deal with him. Sorry for startling you. So he could actually speak normally. I relaxed a little. No, you're fine. Don't worry. Müsste das sein. Any reason for lurking? Did someone give you the you need to lurk for 6 months before posting Spiel? I was thinking. By the way, where are you chatting from? For some reason there was a short pause. Shibuya. All at once images of those gruesome new gen incidents flashed through my head. Even though I hadn't actually seen any photos. I could picture them so vividly that it was almost like I'd been there myself. The man's torn up stomach, the lifeless fetus shoved inside, the 5 people that dove off the building, instantly turning into a pulpy, inhuman puddle upon hitting the ground. Just thinking about it was almost enough to make me puke. I shook my head violently, as if to shake the gruesome delusions out of my head. The shogun guy was suspicious. I couldn't stop the paranoid delusions from forming. What was he trying to drag me into? Same here. Looks like a lot of weird incidents have been happening lately. Huh? More are coming. Shibuya, so scary.
なんだこれ
Ah ja. Ich erinnere mich an diese Formel. What's that? Was? This room guy some kind of temper nut job? I'd never seen that formula before in my life, and when you were as smart as me, that was saying something. I tried looking it up in this day and age, as there was all sorts of on the internet, so it would be easy to find.
あれ
I'm not
ヒットし
getting
ない
any
な
results. Yep. Was he trying to act smart by typing some nonsense formula? Fuck if I knew. Search the interwebs, search for Japanese pages only. That formula has killed this world's possibilities. Ooh, geil. What are you trying to say? What was that link from earlier? Should I just take the bait already? I thought it might interest you. Spam, 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 Spam. Er wird ein bisschen gerne voll gespammt. Wie lange ging das nochmal? Muss ich was drücken? All of a sudden the chat was flooded with links. Just who was this guy? Was he just trying to scare me for shits and giggles? Maybe he was a friend of Grimm's and they teamed up to mess with me. Nope, das war nicht der Grund. Feeling the gaze again, I took a look around the room, but surprise, surprise, all that was behind me was dark and clutter as per usual. I was hit with an unnatural sense of dread. The feeling of perpetually being watched left me feeling restless.
僕を見るな
And upon saying that, I realized that my voice was trembling. It was almost like the cluttered room I knew so well had transformed into someplace completely foreign. If you've ever had to go to the bathroom at night after watching a horror movie or listening to a ghost story or something, you may know the feeling of being unnerved or even terrified by the dark horrors of your own home. That was close to how I felt right now.
くそ、釣られたりするもんか。
Ja, ich glaube schon. In spite of my shuddering, I faced the monitor, leaned in, and before I knew it, with the slightest twitch of my index finger, I clicked on one of the links. Tja. No, wait. Yup. I really had no clue how it happened. It wasn't like my hand had been possessed. It wasn't like my hand had been possessed by some unnatural force or something. I just sort of done it without thinking. But even though I knew full well that that it would be a mistake, I had clicked it as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
なんだよ、これ。
Oof, what is this? Yep. The image that filled my monitor looked like some kind of modern art piece. An arrangement of spikes like the quills of a hedgehog, or pins in a pin cushion produced from the wall, in the shape of a cross. Below it a puddle of dark red, and in front of it were small pieces of something scattered across the ground, like garbage. Seriously, what even was this? The work of some pretentious avant-garde artist? Nope. Those sorts of idiots were all over the place. They would make gory stuff like this, then sprout some bullshit like it depicts the latent chaos of laid bare in the screw world. No way in hell I had ever considered that shit art. Still, what a weird image. It hadn't explicitly been gore, but was definitely borderline. So then why? Why had it seemed so graphic? Why had it seemed so realistic? Why was I imagining the stench of blood, and why was the stench so strong that it nearly made me choke? It was all in my head, so why did I feel sick to my stomach? I felt a sharp throbbing pain in my forehead. The nausea wouldn't go away. I desperately reached for my mouth, but my trembling hand knocked it off the desk, leaving it dangling above the floor by its cord. I wheeled it back up to the mouthpit and then finally closed the image. But just as I had thought it was finally over, my eyes were struck by... Whose eyes are those eyes? Yep. I glanced at the minimum attendance chart. In the end, I hadn't managed to catch the new Blood Tune episode live. No big deal. So someone had upped it to YouTube after the fact. So I had been able to just watch it there. I still didn't feel any better though. Those last words Shogun had left behind. It was almost as if he knew about God's gaze and how much it terrified me. It was way too specific for it to just be a coincidence. Maybe someone had leaked some info about me online. Maybe it was another ESO player with a grudge against Nightheart or something. Prodigies like me got a lot of love, so naturally they also got a lot of hate. Well, most haters out there were just jealous. You wouldn't see them around much, but every once in a while some child would try to start shit because he was jealous of Nightheart's strength and popularity. They weren't worth anyone's time. But we've gone off topic now. Anyway, yeah, that Shogun guy really got to me. Earlier I tried logging in onto ESO to grind for a little while, but I just couldn't concentrate. And to make matters worse, of all days for this to happen,
最悪の日だ。
I just had to... On top of everything else that had happened, I also had to go to school today. I seriously didn't want to go, but if I didn't follow the minimum attendance sheet to IT, my calculations would get completely thrown off. Worst case scenario, I would even have to repeat the year. But I'm so tired. I stiffed a yawn and started trudging off towards school, a trip that was about 10 minutes from my base on foot. As soon as I started walking, my mood sank even lower. My body grew heavy and I found it strangely hard to breathe, causing me to break into an uncomfortable sweat. This was what always happened on school days. Going to school was pure suffering. Why did I have to go through this? Grumbling to myself with my eyes fixed on the pavement, I kept on walking. I turned to enter Shoto Park. The school was just past it. Over by the lake, an elderly couple was taking their morning stroll. Nearby, a businessman sat on a bench reading the sports section of the newspaper. For a park on the outskirts of a bustling city like Shibuya, it was surprisingly calm. Definitely a great place to relax. I took a seat on another bench nearby before heading into school in the morning. I always came here to eat breakfast. I gazed out towards the peaceful pond, the water surrounded by trees with off-color leaves, their hues slowly changing as autumn rolled in. As per usual, today's menu was just the cream bun that I picked up from the convenience store on the way here. It would be enough to tide me over until later tonight. I always skipped lunch. Nobody wanted to eat lunch with an otaku freak like me, and there was no way in hell I would eat alone when surrounded by people eating and chatting together. After washing down my breakfast with some cola, I began staring up at the sky absent-mindedly. No matter the season, the sky above Shibuya was always pretty bleak. My parents only lived a few train stations away, but there was still a clear difference between here and there. Don't get me wrong, I didn't especially mind the bleak sky, but I also couldn't really explain why. I glanced at my watch to check the time. I needed to get going or I would be late. I had to avoid that outcome at all costs. I only came to school 2 or 3 times a week, so I had to keep a low profile. To make it through school, I had to blend in to become invisible like Zia. The ideal school day was one where nothing happened. One where I didn't have to deal with any of my teachers or DQN classmates. That was the ultimate goal I shot for. And it would continue to be until the day I would finally graduate. Nope. Sag ich dazu noch schon mal? This was through my private academy, the school I went to. Apparently it had only been built around 10 years ago, so it didn't exactly have a rich history of anything like that. Since it still looked brand new, it made a pretty good setting for high school TV shows. On top of that, the school uniforms had apparently been designed by some famous designer. A ton of shallow-ass girls enrolled just so that they could wear it. And while they called it a prep school, most students here didn't score much higher than the national average. Even more ironic, though, was that the school slogan was, here you will be free. And yet the school rules were actually really strict. Then again, they never actually bothered enforcing those rules. So I guess the slogan wasn't really wrong in the end. I mean, I barely ever showed up and I passed my class just fine if I could get away with that. You could probably get away with anything. As I closed in I could hear the other students more and more clearly. I wasn't good at dealing with crowds, so I kept my head low as I slipped through the gate. Nobody talked to me. I repeat those words in my head like a mantra. My younger sister also attended the school, so she still lived with my parents. Run into her and any perfectly fine day could turn into a nightmare. So schlimm ist die nicht. Luckily I hadn't run into her this time. I made it to class safe and sound. I rushed over to my seat, being extra careful not to make eye contact with anyone. I could feel a nearby group of girls shoot a glance at me, but thankfully they went right back to chatting afterwards. They all thought I was a freak, I was sure of it. Well, from my point of view, you 3D sluts are the real freaks here. Boah. If you think I'm a freak, then don't look at me. Just pretend like I'm not here. Don't acknowledge me at all. If you all just do that, then I won't bother you either, and I can go about my day in peace. That's why it always confuses me when I see DQNs calling people freak. They don't get it. If you think they are such a freak, then why even bothering talking to them? Just stay in your corner, and they will stay in theirs. So ganz falsch finde ich das nicht, was da sagt. Regardless, I was just sitting in there looking down at my desk when...
Yo, Dark.
Yo, Taku. Someone suddenly clapped me on the back. Started, I turned to look behind me. Yep. Didn't know you were here.
三角君
It was Mr. Midaski, one of my classmates. He shot me a friendly smile from beside my desk. The guy was pretty handsome, so all the girls were into him, but he was also into them. And dated them, a lot of them, usually multiple at a time. If you ask me, he was balls deep into DQ and territory. If it were up to me, I would steer clear of him, but...
相変わらず暗い顔してんなゲームのやりすぎで寝不足か別に
Alter, irgendwie ist gerade die Hintergrundmusik sehr laut. He was the only person in the class who was comfortable talking to me. So, we had absolutely nothing in common, so I had no idea why he bothered. I had been suspicious about it ever since the school year began. If I were a girl, I could maybe understand, but since I was a guy, it made no sense to me.
引きこもりだからしゃあねえかもしんねえけどよもっとこうハキハキ答えろって
Ich finde gerade Konflikt. Okay, so ist glaube ich ein bisschen besser schon. Ja. I would if I could. Just the act of talking to another 3D human being was painful. Anxiety made it hard for me to speak naturally. My lack of experience made it hard for me to articulate things. And I was always afraid of being teased for saying something weird. That was why I always shrunk back. You have no idea how much pain I'm going through, so please don't talk like you know me. Also, I'm not a goddamn shut-in. Real shut-in stay in the rooms 24 hours a day. 365 days in a year. I'm not like that.
女相手に緊張するならともかくそういう態度されると俺らホモと思われるじゃねえか
Nope. Wait, was he just dating girls as a cover? Had he been into guys all along? I tried to back away from nearly falling onto my chair, but I quickly grabbed onto the desk to catch my shit.
お前三角君はホモなのなわけねえだろお前俺の女好きを忘れたのかだよねビビったちなみに
Okay. I took a quick look around and then lowered his voice and grinned from ear to ear.
このクラスとして3人目にました誰だか聞きたいか
What the fuck, ey.
いいよ別に
Ich hatte ganz vergessen, dass da so ein Charakter drin war.
もっと興味示せよ田中だぜ田中って誰お前もうすぐ10月だって未だに同じクラスのやつの顔を覚えてねえのかま、3次元に興味ないんじゃそれも当然か
Visibly frustrated, he shrugged his shoulders and let out a sigh. Well, interestingly enough, he never insulted my taste in girls, which was, to put it simply, that they had to be from the second dimension. Okay. But he would never call me a freak for that. He just didn't bother with things that didn't interest him. That was what made me think he may not have been all that bad. That was also probably the reason why I didn't mind talking to him.
これでうちのクラスの可愛い女はほぼ攻略完了だ
Ach du Scheiße.
そろそろ隣のクラス守備範囲広げようかって思ってんだよ
Okay, maybe he was pretty bad. If a girl overheard some of the shit he said, she would be horrified.
めったに学校来ねえけどすごくいい女がいるらしいんだよなんか、そういう燃えねえか
Alter, ey.
お前の場合は燃えるんじゃなくて燃えだっけか
Are you talking about 2D?
ま、お前の興味ねえ話はそろそろやめるかじゃあよニュージェネの話知ってるだろ
I hadn't expected to hear those words come out of his mouth. And here I thought he was only capable of thinking about girls. I couldn't even picture him watching the news or reading the newspaper.
集団ダイブの事件さ。あれも噂によると殺人らしいぜ。
へえ。
マジだって書いてあったんだよ、スポ島に。
But so his source was sports doctor, that kind of erased any and all credibility. Still, I'd already known about that rumor, not that I
で、
cared.
聞いて驚け。その殺人鬼が女で、しかもかなり美人だって目撃証言があんだよ。
女。
Ich habe gerade in meinem Kopf so einige Verknüpfungen wieder angestellt, die jetzt auf einmal Sinn ergeben, die ich so nicht mehr im Hinterkopf hatte. Watching Mr. Mikun gets so excited is finally hit me. Why did he suddenly care enough to read Sports Tokyo? Same reason he cared about anything else, something to do with girls. What a twist. I guess Mr. Mikun wouldn't even go after a serial killer as long as they were cute. I mean, if it were me, I would take a cute 2D serial killer, but Mr. Mikun stared longingly at the blue sky outside the window. Then for some reason his face lit up as if he had reached enlightenment
どんな
itself.
やつなんだろうな。
Enlightenment.
犯人って。本当に美人なのかな。会ってみて。
Nein, wieso möchtest du jemanden treffen, der dich potenziell umbringt? Oh Mann. Yeah, this dude definitely flew exclusively. So,
俺だけは殺されねえ自信があんだよな。だってほら、俺ってかっこいいだろ。いくら連続殺人鬼でも、俺みたいないい男に会ったら、コロッと惚れちゃうぜ。
Nope. And that's why she wouldn't kill you. This guy was so delusional that he gave me a run for my money. The fact that he was able to say all that without even a hint of irony was honestly pretty gross.
僕は興味ないから。
I don't really care.
でもよ、興味ないっつったって、犯人は絶対この辺うろうろしてんだぞ。どっかですれ違ってたりするかもしんねえし。
Well, for all I know, you could be the murderer. Okay, probably not, but it was entirely possible that the killer could be one of the students at this very school. If that turned out to be true, maybe I would use my PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome, as an excuse to come in less often without hurting my attendance.
今日俺と一緒に殺人現場見に行かね。ここから歩いて行けんだってよ。まだ血とか残ってるらしいぞ。
Oh man. I had absolutely zero interest in doing that. I just wanted to get through school in peace. Go home, greet Saratan, and get back to being worshipped like a god in
もう
Baseland.
小橋と長谷川は見に行ったって言ってたしよ。
本当に興味ないんだ。
Okay. I feel bad about him since he seems so excited but I really did not want to go. But even though I was trying to hide,
そしたら犯人とばったり会っちゃったりしてな。犯人は犯行現場に戻って
ich weiß nicht, was
ってよく言うだろ。
ich weiß nicht, was das gerade da bedeutet. Ich speichere mal. Ich finde das irgendwie auch geil, das Ding da. Ich habe aber keine Ahnung, was es mit den Dingern da aussieht. Mal Help. Also das ist das. Backlog Tipplist. Okay. Ah, das sind die Sachen. Hier sind auch Source ab. Anyway, we act as speak in a way that is commonly regarded in Electromagnetic Waves. Okay, ich glaube, hier ist ein bisschen was da noch. Die QN kann ich ja mal. Das Dorf QN. Das to refer to. Das erklärt natürlich. Play video games that have been popular. When you're on PC, where they were refer to as video games, you can play primarily consists of reading text. This text is often by character sprites, backgrounds. Okay, the genre revolves, the player go. Ja, das ist halt. Chunibuyo. Aber so. ich denke, dass ich dann jetzt hier an dem Punkt auch die Folge dann beenden werde. Ich weiß nicht, ich bin mir nicht sicher wegen den beiden da. Gespeichert habe ich auch schon einmal, das heißt, dass ich das dann nicht mehr machen brauche. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.